I want to go more in depth on the big picture of where things are at right now and where it's likely to go, and also who are the beneficiaries, the Chinese Communist Party probably being the biggest of those. And also what this means for, well, the food supplies. Remember, Russia is one of the biggest suppliers of fertilizers, including to Brazil, which is one of the world's largest food providers. They've actually cut off those supplies. And Russia has a lot of bargaining power despite the sanctions, not just on fertilizer, but also with Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine together being kind of the bread baskets of the world in a lot of regards, at least for a lot of the Arab regions. And it means that I'll get into this more in depth, but if they are sanctioned and they're preventing the export of these goods, fertilizers, natural gas to Europe, well, food to a lot of different countries, if countries want to deal with Russia, they need to violate the U.S. sanctions, and they need to go through Chinese banks now. This is actually pretty significant, especially the sanctions, which we'll see how deep these cut. I've seen mixed analysis on the sanctions. It does seem to be the case that Russia is kind of reeling from them. But frankly, a couple sides to this, I'll get into it a bit later. One is very likely this is going to push a lot of the world to the Chinese banking system, which, maybe that was the intention. I don't know. Whether intentional or not, that is going to be the outcome. Because again, Russia moving a lot of its companies to the Chinese banking system, a lot of countries are not going to be able to deal without Russian goods, especially fertilizer, especially natural gas, especially different grains. A lot of countries are going to have to go around the U.S. sanctions and work with Russia. And that means going through the Chinese banking system because they've been canceled by the Western system, SWIFT, different credit card companies, and so on. China is probably going to be the biggest beneficiary of all of this. And there's speculation that was the intention. I don't know what the intention was. It's not getting to intention. That will likely be the outcome, though.